AEW and WWE are going head-to-head tonight in a historic broadcast. One's going to be on FS1, one's going to be on TNT, but there's one superstar who does not see AEW as competition. Plus, we got some more news on Tony Khan, basically confirming not only the full card, the full gear card that was leaked, but also he is also in the news because he thinks that he can outspend WWE. We're going to jump into all of that today in the Freestyle Friday edition of The Top Story.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
What's up, everyone? It's Jose G and Jeremy Bennett for the Freestyle Friday edition of The Top Story. Hope you guys are having a great week. And tonight, it's Friday. People are thinking or talking or saying the first Friday of the Friday Night Wars. It looks like it's a test run. Man, what do you think? What's going on here?
What's
going on here?
These stories are just pouring in of WWE versus AEW, considering what's going on tonight. It's crazy how just how everybody's talking about each other. It's like the old days. It's like the days of the Monday Night Wars almost.
But it's only a one-time thing, Jeremy.
Yeah,
I'm hopping in here.
Maybe.
Look at Kevin with the run-in.
Maybe it's the start. Maybe it's the start of something else, though.
It might be the start of something. Who knows? Guys?
Look at how much fun we're having this week.
Look how much fun we're having. I don't know how much fun this is for the people that have to wait for those numbers to come in.
I'm sure Tony's having a lot of fun, and Roman's having a lot of fun.
I was talking to we did the Insight Cradle. If you guys want even more, we break this all down, and it's not just about tonight. So this will play out past tonight. Go get it. It's on our YouTube. It's on our podcast channel as well. We're dropping a lot of content on our channel this weekend too, by the way. This Paul Heyman interview, which we just did, is something else. So that is up now as well. So go check that out. Dominic Mysterio, Drew McIntyre, lots of stuff. But Rick tried to tell me that the pressure is really on WWE. I think it's the other way around, because this is WWE doesn't have to win this. With all the talk, it's AEW that has to win this.
Yeah, I mean, Tony's definitely talking a lot, so it would look bad if they don't win. But at the same time, it's, you got an established company going against an upstart, so they're not always going to swing and hit it. They're going to swing and miss every once in a while.
And of course, Roman knew what he was doing here by.
Absolutely.
He sure talks a lot about AEW for not caring about AEW.
Well, people ask him. You don't know the framing of the question, though, too. I think that's always important. So when they always just look at the isolated quote and they run with it here, and then they take their shots with it. He was asked, do you think this company is competition? He framed it as, I do not think they are competition. You can see right there. That's a graphic. And this is an interview, I believe he did with Complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I do not believe they're competition because I think they only want a certain type of audience, whereas WWE, we want a much broader audience. Is that inaccurate? Yeah. I don't think it's an inaccurate.
I actually think that's a very accurate answer. Actually, to be completely honest with you, what he said, in my opinion, is 100% right. AEW, and I've said this on my show multiple times. AEW seems to be the type of show that is really catered to that hardcore wrestling indie type guy.
Nothing wrong with it,
and there's nothing wrong with it. It's great stuff. But when you have WWE that's producing for the masses, for a global audience, it's different. It's different, and I understand where Roman's coming from when he made that statement.
Yeah, but if you look at the numbers on Wednesdays, though, they are starting to pull casual people in. It's not just the hardcore base that's tuning in on a Wednesday night. It may be the hardcore base that's tuning in on a Friday night when a lot of people got a lot going on. But Wednesday, they've been over 1 million for like literally 9 out of 13 weeks, or maybe it's 11 out of 13 weeks. They've been over 1 million. So they're pulling in casual people too. They're kind of starting to reel people in with the product that they're getting and the guys that they're bringing into the company as well.
And Rachel kind of agrees with me. AEW is brilliant. WWE is lacking right now. The broad audience includes children, and WWE is right there. AEW is more for adults. But here's the thing: is the idea that anything that children watch is bad?
No, absolutely.
I don't know
not.
what we're
Those are
getting
the
at.
people. But again, when you have children watching that are watching guys like John Cena, like Bianca Belair, these are larger than life characters that these little kids are looking up to. They're going to be like, "Mommy and Daddy, I want a John Cena shirt for Christmas. I want a Bianca Belair action figure for Christmas." Those are going to be the ones that are going to be driving those parents to spend money on that merchandise. And unfortunately, the AEW doesn't have anything catered for that demographic right now. It's really more towards, us, the 18 to 34 demographic, which they're hitting marvelously. But again, WWE is for the masses. It's a global audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we want to get into what he said, had to say?
Yeah. Exactly. You want to read the exact quote there?
Oh, yeah. So again, Roman Reigns talking with Mike DeStefano from Complex. And he says, and just in regards to, if he sees competition in AEW, he says, no, I mean, not for me personally. This is one of the subjects that's very subjective. There's a lot of passion and tribalism that really sways and creates an unbiased opinion. But I can only speak from my perspective. I'm one of those guys who will compete at anything. Like, I bet I can eat that cookie faster. I want to be the best at anything that I choose to do. We pull up on lawnmowers, we cut the yard in half. I'm going to beat you. My side looks better, and my side will look better than yours. So to me, I don't see the real competition with AEW because I think their fan base legitimately is a hardcore fan base. So there's like a ceiling, a built-in ground that viewership. WWE is trying to connect with everyone. We're trying to connect with the mainstream. We're trying to pull in the casual fan.
It's the truth. I don't think it's not offensive. Like, if you want to isolate it and take it, you're taking the bait then. And
tribalism's real, guys.
Roman used that word in the interview. Roman used that word in the interview. He said tribalism right there.
Mm-hmm. And these aren't like, and I bring this stuff up all the time. You can watch whatever you want to watch. And don't feel like if you watch WWE and you like AEW that you're committing some sin, or vice versa. There's nothing there. You're saying AEW is a baby company. Tony Khan will sell to WWE soon. No. He doesn't understand the business at all. Well, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Signing all the old bags doesn't scare WWE. I've heard more of an argument against people saying, well, how different is this company if the top guys are going to feature all guys from WWE?
If it doesn't scare WWE, why did they counteract when Punk got announced?
Not only that, but tonight they're going commercial free that last half hour on FS1.
There is competition. It's clear. I mean, they beat Raw in the demo one week. Raw is the flagship program that's been around for many years.
1 week. This is the long haul, and they beat NXT. Yeah. So, all right, that's fine.
It took long to do it, though. So there is competition.
There is competition.
Yeah,
but no one's denying that. No one's denying that. But this idea,
well, Roman is.
What he's saying it in the broader sense of things. Yeah. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to worry about it the way that he doesn't have to cover it or do anything. Because guess what? He's still going to sell a lot more merchandise than a lot of other people in this business. He's still going to play at a different level than a lot of other people in this business. And he doesn't have to look at it the same way everyone does. And at the same time, he's still going to be in a football stadium.
Poor Mike.
Yeah. I mean, but then you have people saying Roman sucks. And the thing is also, Roman's smart. He also knows how to walk that line, and everything here. And here's the main thing. People bring it up too. The American League Championship Series is going to win tonight. That's Michael hits it right on the head. That's why this is happening. That's why SmackDown is on FS1 tonight. That's why this is all happening. This isn't happening because they just want to go after WWE. It's like, here's an opportunity to do that.
I think Paul Heyman said it the best today in the interview with Rick. Who watches baseball? Why are we even talking about baseball?
Yeah, right.
And he claimed baseball was predetermined.
And that's why there is going to be such a possible competition tonight, is because it's FS1 versus TNT and not network Fox against a TNT, where SmackDown would just smoke them in the numbers. So there is that level of intrigue, just because SmackDown is bleeding into Rampage, and of course being on FS1, it's going to have a considerable less viewership than they normally would on the network.
New viewers getting on screen with us. We love that. We love people joining the show and having their comments in here. A lot of people with different takes on everything going on right now. Love to hear what you guys think about this whole thing. And a lot of people with different opinions about this.
The chat was blowing up before we even got on air.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was.
It started real early.
Yeah, which is rare, and it's this tribalism thing, man. It really gets under people's skin, and it's more about can I? It's the same thing you see with politics. I have to be right to that person I had an argument with on the internet in a thread that I never am ever going to meet, or someone I haven't talked to in 10 years who has a different opinion about something than me, and we do it on Facebook now. We never see each other, but we're gonna see this thing. This subsection of this demographic in this quarter hour won, so I win. And that's what it may break down to. This may be a pretty close show. May be I don't think predicting the ratings is really easy to do. And also we don't know what stops they're either going to pull out on each other. It's worth noting they're only going head to head for a half an hour. And that's worth noting.
But of course you got
AEW's doing that buy-in thing with Suzuki and Bryan Danielson. Which is still just crazy that they're just doing that on free free internet stuff.
That's somewhat of a head-to-head. That's more AEW trying to pull people away from that hour of SmackDown, basically.
Mark is saying people don't understand that WWE wants to. They want WWE PG-14, but if they do that, AEW won't stand a chance just to relax and complain about this. The same thing's going on here both ways.
And it's not that has nothing to do with it. WWE is not PG-13, 14, whatever the hell you call it, because they have sponsors like Snickers instead of Castrol GTX.
Yeah, and they're gonna sell cars and they're gonna sell other things, and it's a different thing. It's a broader scope. You go to a WWE show, there's a lot of different people there. You go to an AEW show, it's dudes and some chicks and dudes and maybe a couple kids and
some dudes
and dudes and chicks, lots of dudes. Let me put it this way: I was at All Out. They shut down a women's restroom because they didn't have enough. They didn't they were overwhelmed when they let people into All Out, and they had to shut down a women's room just to get more people in and out of the restrooms.
That's
crazy,
bro.
Bro.
No,
I gotta
on
go.
The topic of AEW, man, Tony Khan's been in the news all week long, hyping up this whole Friday situation. But we got some backstage news on how WWE feels about Tony Khan. And Tony Khan was in an interview with the New York Post, and they asked him kind of like this whole situation about what's going on this Friday, and there has been a reported feeling that WWE feels that the AEW president Tony Khan will end up losing significant amount of money in the long run if he tries to compete with WWE. Now, in the interview, he addressed a whole commercial-free situation. What made me laugh about the quote is that he says that he has more money than WWE. What's your take on this, guys? Because because flaunting, you can flaunt it, but that's not a real way to, run a business. And like, I have I have more money than they do. I'm going to spend.
I don't know. Tony's just been shooting off the hip here this week with a lot of different interviews where he's saying some things that
Uncle Tony's at it again, Kevin.
Yeah, he's talking a lot. He's saying a lot of things.
Tío Tony says, loco.
And then in Stanford, they heard some things. But where is Vince McMahon at his best? We've all heard it. When he wants to compete, this is when he's at his best.
That's what Bischoff said.
And that is what Bischoff said. And this is what you get. You signed a bunch of people from WWE whose names were built in WWE, who people liked in WWE, and now you have them on your TV show. And you did what WCW did. That's what people are on the surface see this as, right? Maybe fans today don't see it because things change. We want something different. Give us we want new wrestling, but with new people, right? Right?
Yeah, and like Dave Meltzer said in the Wrestling Observer, he says that there is that perception that Khan is spending too much money and will lose. There's also talk from the higher ups that it's unfair to say that WWE, because they have to make money, they feel like the opposition doesn't have to. They've downplayed just how much that Khan has spent with getting in the game and going forward. They say that internally, people are making comments to WWE Chairman Vince McMahon about it beat Ted Turner, and Ted Turner's smarter than Tony Khan, but yet Turner did not know anything about pro wrestling when he got into pro wrestling, as opposed to Tony Khan. So I don't know. It's interesting though how they don't say their competition, but yet behind in Stamford, Connecticut, they sure think about them a lot too. So it goes both ways, And
everyone can have a varying opinion about it. But the thing is, you're not hearing anyone at AEW say that WWE isn't something they think about or talk about or pivot off of or want to do something different with, So it's a different thing. And AEW has to do that. Like, they have to do it. Like, they're in that position where they have to constantly swing out of the shadow that they claim that they're not in, right? And WWE has to constantly say there's nothing on our shadow right now. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the sense of that's what it is. That's the reality of it here,
I also think that when you're talking about this whole situation, that when AEW is trying to make its mark, you're absolutely right. They have a whole lot more at stake than WWE. WWE has been established for way over 40 years. AEW is 2.5 years old, so they have a lot more at stake, and you're absolutely right. They have to pull out all the stops in order to bring those eyes to the product. So, yeah, you're absolutely right about that, Kevin.
What's our next story here, gentlemen? Before we jump into freestyle questions, are we ready to jump into questions?
Well, one of the odd things that happened this week was some detectives on Twitter saw a notebook.
Zoom in.
Let's get that pinch that out and zoom in on that notebook, because there was a notebook that a lot of people thought and read as the card for AEW Full Gear. We covered kind of the highlights of what was on that notebook, I think, yesterday on Top Story. Tony Khan was on Busted Open Radio and addressed that photo, and he said, quote, "I was doodling on my notebook, and I saw a lot of people take notice of my notes in the notebook," which is pretty amazing, because when you're walking around with full notes, you never think photographers are going to capture the small writing you've written down. I'm glad it wasn't anything more personal. It's funny that people run with the assumptions on the internet that these days I've seen people jumping to conclusions that, this must be the Full Gear card. It is true. I announced that Kenny versus Hangman is the main event that we've all been waiting for Full Gear. It's going to be a huge pay-per-view. It is absolutely booked. I just have notes, and I've been messing around with different ideas and playing around with stuff. You can even see it's scratching around, written in pencil. It's been erased. I think it's pretty fortunate, because people have gotten a ton of buzz.
It's a work. Joseph Carino says it's a work.
And it's gotten people wondering, and people should be wondering. It creates more speculation, and now I'll leave you with more questions and answers.
This is cover up. like that's the way this comes off as.
Audible.
This comes off as, I just have notes. I keep notes all the time.
It's in pencil. It could change. Cards subject to change.
It absolutely can change. Like that's absolutely true. But the fact of the matter is, why are you walking around with your notes like that? Like, I don't know. It's not like you have to protect your notes.
I'm really just baffled to the idea that he has his notes facing outward. Like, who holds a notebook with their just wide open with their notes for everyone to see?
Or maybe,
by the way, here's my formula to cure COVID.
Or maybe he just
I got my
knew.
burn book of all the people I don't like at school. I'm not going to let anyone see.
He just knew this was going to get photographed, and just knew the internet would talk about it. Yeah. And maybe he just did that on purpose.
Because he's so smart. He's so ahead of the game. He understands this. He understands modern booking.
He might have.
There is one thing he does understand, Kevin, and is how to get a response on Twitter and on the internet. That's one thing he knows how to do.
Yeah.
Maybe this wasn't work. Maybe Joseph Carino was right. Say this whole notebook pick was a work.
Did it on purpose.
Hey, nothing else is going on with the Jaguars. Why don't you take a picture of my notebook? And
He knew the detectives would come out and decipher that thing in a hurry.
I love this comment by EGD Max on YouTube. Sorry. Who's ready for an average show? And Jason Michael, I'm so ready for a boring ass rampage.
I don't think you're getting a boring ass rampage at all. I think you're going to get an incredible show.
You got Punk in the ring. You got Junior Dos Santos debuting. It's going to be a good one.
What a pressure cooker for Junior Dos Santos to debut in pro wrestling under these circumstances.
Yeah.
So a lot of people.
No pressure at all.
No pressure at all. No pressure at all.
By the way, Junior, you're going to be going head to head with SmackDown tonight. By the way, Roman and Brock are going to be there face to face during your time slot while you're probably going to be wrestling.
Hey, at least he's in a 6-man, so he doesn't have to.
Once
carry
again,
it.
if you're joining us just late, we do have a fresh interview up with Paul Heyman ahead of this week's SmackDown, talking about Crown Jewel. He has a lot to say about his standing. He had a very interesting story about his on-screen combativeness with one Caleb Braxton on Talking Smack.
I got the clip ready to go, man.
What was that? What was that fancy word he used? Sapiosexual.
You got the clip ready, buddy?
Let's play it.
I'm bringing it in right now. Give me.
This is worth it.
You bring it in, and I'll reel in the banner here.
This is worth it. This has already been shared by a lot of different people. Check this out.
On television have been spectacular. I would wonder if you would indulge me for just a second, because I know you have a lot of heat with her on the screen. But could you just pull back the curtain and talk a little bit about Kayla Braxton and kind of admit the magic that you two create when you're on screen together?
Well, of course we have magic together. I mean, first of all, Kayla Braxton is magnificent at her job and deserves a ton of credit for it. And from what I understand, she is very particular in the people with whom she is willing to date or see on a personal level. It's a known fact that Kayla Braxton has very high standards in that regard, and that she looks for intelligence in men as well. Therefore, Kayla Braxton has this sapiosexual lust for me that she just won't hide when she's on camera. If she didn't, why does she keep on trying to come out of the blue and come out of the side every time I'm walking down the hallway? I don't stalk her that way. Can you imagine the controversy if Kayla Braxton's walking down the hallway and I walk up and go, "Hey, Kayla," and she gets scared? It would be a human resources violation just like that. But it's okay for her to do it to me. Why? Because she has sapiosexual lust in her heart for the wise man, and I applaud her for her taste in men / wise men / a wise man.
Oh, the best rivalry in pro wrestling today, Paul Heyman and Caleb Braxton right there, man.
Yeah, guys, and that's available on our YouTube channel, so make sure you head on over there. Check out the full interview with Rick Ucchino and Paul Heyman. Has a ton of stuff to say ahead of Crown Jewel, and it's just great. He talks about his favorite promo person in WWE right now, so check it out. Smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you never miss when we drop brand new content. But guys, I think it's time for Freestyle Friday. All right, guys.
So get your questions ready. And by the way, a little bit of this. Don't ask us to confirm your fantasy booking. All right. So like we have to state that every week. Hey, this thing I think that I want to happen that has not been presented on television at all. Do you think that's going to happen? So, but we can jump into questions like this. We do have this one that's going on here. Ashley wants to know, do you think KO, Kevin Owens, will go to AEW? Gentlemen, what do you think? It's been talked about for weeks and weeks and weeks. Kevin Owens now tweeting back and forth with members of the AEW roster. People saying he looks sad on TV and losing to lower card wrestlers like Madcap Moss, Riddick Moss.
Yeah.
What do you think here? I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm 50-50 about it. His deal is reportedly up in January 2022.
Now, the whole looking sad thing, I don't think has anything to do with it. But
neither do I. That's more the character that's the storyline he's in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I absolutely think he's going. I think there was proof months ago that he was gonna jump ship. I think Adam Cole moving, I think, has solidified that. I think Mount Rushmore is going to reunite, and I fully expect it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
What
is the
disagree
proof
with you,
there? What is
Jeremy.
that proof?
I have to disagree 100%, dude. I have to
What
disagree.
is this proof, though? You said proof, Jeremy. What are you
Oh,
talking
the
about?
sneaky thing that him and the Bucks did on Twitter a couple of months ago.
I mean, the Mount Rushmore coordinates, that's very
No. When Kevin Owens' location was almost there on Twitter was where he was located at, and the Young Bucks' location was there. They did some sneaky things that
a bunch of people.
Still very cryptic. Still very cryptic. Got to take
I fully expect KO to.
You fully expect it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge KO fan.
Will you be disappointed if it doesn't happen?
No.
You won't be.
I'm a huge KO fan.
Because
I'm a huge KO fan. That's my guy. I want that guy. I wish he had never lost to Goldberg. I wish he had that Universal title for way longer than he had it. I thought that the greatest thing he did was with Jericho. They really haven't been taking care of him. However, I think I think he's going to stay. I honestly think he's going to stay.
I'm 50-50 on it. He's done a lot in WWE. You know, he had a fun run even as far back as just a little bit more than a year ago with Roman. Didn't get the belt off him, but was in main events, right? So I mean, what else are you going to do? He's done Mania, he's done all of it. You know?
I look at it as a similar situation to Jon Moxley. Dean Ambrose wanted to go back to Jon Moxley. I think Kevin Owens wants to get back to Kevin Steen. I honestly think he wants to get back to his old persona and feels like he can, because there is that creative freedom in AEW that you don't get in WWE. I think he wants to get back to Kevin Steen.
There's creative freedom in WWE depending on who you are. You know, if you're Roman Reigns, you kind of get to do what you want.
You can take 20 minutes to get to the ring and talk about missionary positions and
yes. And that was
or you could be Big E and talk about things dripping through your nipples.
Oh my God, I popped at that. That was hilarious.
That was good.
Just watching Drew's face.
Or if you're the Miz gets away with a lot of stuff too.
Yeah. Ricky Castillo, do you think AEW will beat SmackDown tonight? Well, that's incredibly subjective because they're only going head to head for half an hour.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
one's on YouTube, one's on cable TV.
I mean, what are you going to compare the half hour? You know, is all you can compare.
Yeah.
So they're going to compare the numbers regardless, even though they're not going head to head. So I don't know. I don't even know what they pulled last time on FS1. Was it like 800 or something?
No, they did around 900,000. That was just an overnight number. So they're definitely clearing like 1.4, 1.5, which is less than what they would do on network television.
Rampage
Rock tonight.
I'm talking about the SmackDown number on FS1. The last time they got preempted and got moved from Fox Network TV over the air television to FS1, they did around 900,000. And you got to think also, everyone thinks these overnight numbers, they're incredibly subjective numbers. Like they don't include DVR, they don't include streaming, they include no social media number whatsoever in that number.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes people trash on Raw. I was like, but if you look at it, it trends over any other TV show sometimes on Monday nights, and it's going up against Dancing with the Stars and all these other things in Monday Night Football. So people talk about that, but there's a value in that type of viewer that you don't see that isn't in this number that I see, so there's something to be said for that. And that goes across the board, AEW as well. They have a highly engaged audience that's really on board with them. It's a great night for wrestling. This proves to me that wrestling is probably more valuable than people see it. AEW got a TV contract because WWE got $1 billion deal, so like it's Reaganomics with wrestling, and it matters here.
Rampage is not going to top SmackDown tonight, but it's going to get a bump just because of the competition.
I completely agree with that. Yeah. That makes complete sense. And I don't think it's going to get a bigger audience. SmackDown's 2.5 hours, so it's
earlier time slot too.
Earlier time slot, 2.5 hours. More people are going to watch SmackDown tonight because it's on for 2.5 hours, and Rampage is on television for an hour. The rating from and then you're going to hear people say, "Well, we'll combine the buy-in thing." No, it doesn't count. That isn't the field you're playing on. That's like trying to say, "Well, points I scored last year in this league count in this." No, it's like when you're in two different fantasy football leagues. It doesn't work that way. Whatever league you're in that's the points you're playing with here. Jim Case, any chance we see EC3 in AEW? EC3 is doing a hell of a job here in Ring of Honor. I think people are sleeping on Ring of Honor. There's a lot of studs in that stable there, and I think he can do some big things there. I think he'd be good, but I think there's a lot of people who can get lost in the shuffle in AEW. We're kind of already seeing it with Brian Cage. We're kind of seeing it with some people in the women's division. Not everybody. AEW is doing a great job with a lot of different talent, but that's just what it is. You've seen it with WWE. Some people get lost in the shuffle.
Well, you're gonna have people leave next year too. Contracts are expiring.
You will. That'll happen, and that's the game that AEW wanted to play. That's the game that WWE is playing by letting people go too. It's bound to happen here. Let's jump into this one. Eric Travers, do you think we get any surprises tonight on the FS1 SmackDown? What do you think here, Jose? Maybe they bring out Walter. Maybe we get some surprise call up. Maybe we get some surprises.
I don't know, man. Walter would be fantastic. We've been talking about having Walter on SmackDown. That would be a game changer. He wasn't drafted though. His name did not come up in the WWE draft. Typically when SmackDown goes on FS1, well, they don't garner the same amount of viewers that they do as they are on broadcast TV like Fox. However, they're bringing Brock Lesnar tonight. So they are trying to get some massive views on tonight's show. as far as surprises, I don't think we're going to get like any like debuts or like surprise returns or anything like that. But what I can say is that we might get, something really good, as this is the go home show for Crown Jewel next week.
Yeah. And also, it's a 2.5 hour SmackDown. So you never know. Maybe they are going to throw some things out there and do something shocking, because, they don't normally go 2.5 hours. So there's a reason why they're going long this tonight.
And they have no problem doing the hotshot stuff. They did it on Raw the past few weeks, and it bumped up that Raw number. Open up with something big. Hey, we advertised this, and guess what? We're doing this at the end of the show, and you're like, oh wow, now I can't go anywhere. I would not be surprised if something like that is done. Brock Lesnar is on this show. If they want to pull the trigger and say Brock Lesnar's wrestling tonight on SmackDown, that would be something.
Absolutely, you set that up at the 7:00 Central hour to have it go at the
Brock versus the Usos tonight.
to go into the final half hour. I mean, they're obviously going to load something up early to set it up for that last half hour.
And that's every week, but now it seems a little bit more pronounced with names being back and new names being at the top of the card, like Big E. Other questions to get in here. I want to jump into this one here. I don't want to miss this one here. Batman 901. Questions. What do you think of Bianca Belair being the best call-up in years out of the women? I think she's fantastic. One of the best developed WWE superstars in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, she's been booked the best, especially because like Bayley, it took her a while to get her footing. Sasha took a while to get her footing. Bianca
Becky did.
Becky too, and literally Bianca's hit the ground running, so she's probably been the most successful NXT woman to make it on the main roster.
I mean, between her and Rhea Ripley, they've both been, when they both came up, they were both, shot into that championship title picture.
Well, they stared at
champions,
and they stared each other down at the Rumble when they got down to that final 3 too. That was a sweet moment right there.
That's a Mania match down the line if they can get Rhea right.
Yeah.
Victor has a question here. Do y'all? Thank you.
Y'all.
Vic wants to know. Thank you, Victor. Also, if you guys see your question, we don't see it, don't be afraid to post it again. Just don't hammer it with us.
Yeah.
Victor says, do you all think if WWE SmackDown goes 3 hours, they will win? The thing is, I think they're going to win in general, guys, overall, because it's a 2.5 hour show versus a 3 hour show.
And it's an earlier time slot.
And SmackDown is just going to be on longer. So its average viewership overall is just naturally higher.
Yeah.
But Rampage could do it. Who knows? Crazier things have happened. You have SmackDown moving from network TV to cable. There's going to be some people that don't know, I'm just watching baseball, I guess. It's not on my Fox thing. I'm just going to keep the ALCS on. And guess what? More people are going to watch baseball tonight anyway. That's what's going to win.
Rampage has hit 1 million before. I mean, they haven't really gotten close since that one episode.
They haven't gotten close. Their last rating was less than half of what they debuted with, which is not ideal. And then you have WWE knocking down your doorstep as well. So let's jump into more questions. Keep them coming here. I want to stay here with you guys on top of this here. I want to see.
Oh, hell yeah.
Comments. Here we go. Jeff Samuel says, Kev, Jose. Oh, get Jeremy in there.
Yeah, I guess I don't get to talk about this. I guess I'll just go F off.
We get Usos versus Street Profits for the tag belts. Tweeted it. Jose and Kev, do you think we get this? Well, I mean, they've done it a lot. Yeah. And I do think the Usos' main role really is to play supporting characters to Roman. But don't sleep on them as a tag team. I really think the Street Profits and Usos had some very underrated tag team matches. I still think the Usos are one of the best tag teams in the business. I know if you love AEW and you love their tag division, you cannot argue that the Usos are a compelling tag team with complete validity across the board. Also, cutting different promos, completely evolving as a team. They are not what they were when they debuted. They were not what they were when they were heroes. They're a completely different thing. And it's interesting, and it still complements Roman.
Who takes the titles off of them, though? Do you do that do you hot shot Hit Row that quickly? Now, eventually, I'm not saying tomorrow, but who takes the titles off of them right now?
You got to develop them up as a tag team still. You got to define those guys because there's so many people that don't know Hit Row. They know and they know of them, but they don't know them.
Apology accepted, Jeff. I see him in the chat.
Did you guys catch Top Dollar from Hit Row?
Yes. I was about to bring that up because
bring it up.
Do we have? Can you pop it in?
Yes, I can. I actually got it ready to go, guys.
Yeah.
So if you guys remembered, was it earlier this week or late last week?
I think it was late last week.
when Top Dollar was making a comment about the Young Bucks' sneakers, right? And then the Young Bucks hit back at Top Dollar that they said that they spend more sneakers than the NXT roster's worth or however much they make, right? So Top Dollar decided to respond to this. And I think this is the greatest way to end our Freestyle Friday edition of the Top Story with a freestyle from AJ Francis, better known as Top Dollar. So we're going to go ahead and get that on screen for you guys so you can enjoy it. It's just over a little bit over a minute, and it is fire. Top Dollar dropping bars.
Hero, the new G Unit. Now, if it's one thing my nana taught me is that a hit dog will holler. Top Dollar. Wait, oh, y'all mad, huh? Talking down on Top Dollar, y'all down bad, huh? See, y'all done went and got your sneakers in a twist. I'm like COVID, you don't want it. See, I'm sicker when I spit. Nah, let me get this out in the open. I'm putting everybody in the damn game on notice. I ain't say nobody name, but Top Dollar was trending all damn day. So what that say? They thought they set a heavy trap like it's back day. Yeah, you got your penny for your thoughts, this is back pay. When you're actually great, homie, you don't have to act great. In real life, y'all 5'8", that's why you act fake. I'm from where we smell the fake on you. In Squid Games, I would punch you in your face for marbles. They may say that he lost his marbles, but I got tunnel vision like I'm sitting in a carpool. And my carpool's never tunnel, my pen works in abundance. A decade getting money, homie, you don't really want it. It's clear that validation is all that you covet. Sending fake witch hunts with your peoples like in a coven. Frankie baby hotter than an oven. You know who I'm talking to, dog, Muhammad and McLovin. I mean, it's clear to see the boy's super bad. I'll son you and all your mans, I'm a super dad. I grew up on free lunch, yeah, the food was bad, but it was eat or not eat, so I made do with that. And the game is still the same. When you talk that on my name, realize not is hotter than a flame. Woo! Recognize who you talking to, homeboy.
Top Dollar with the fire bars.
I'm not one of these average run-of-the-mill
freestyle, man.
Questions answered right there.
That was crazy.
That was great.
Nuts.
I think that was
good.
That was a really good freestyle. That was great.
Now watch Max Caster now come out with something. Man, we can let's get this battle going. And now let's get Max Caster in there.
There was a text thread immediately, like someone came storming out of a room, like, "But Caster, get down here!"
Oh yeah, Tony Khan dropped his notebook, got on the phone, and said, "Max, let's drop something right now."
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, let me put my notebook down. That's in pencil.
I'm never letting go of my notebook.
All
right, guys, so that's it for the Top Story. That's it. We really appreciate you guys hanging out here on this Freestyle Friday edition of this Top Story. We really hope you enjoyed that nice freestyle at the end there and our Paul Heyman clip with about Kayla Braxton. We really enjoy it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell so you guys never miss when we drop brand new content, brand new interview right now with Paul Heyman on our YouTube channel. So go ahead and check that out. Go ahead and give us a follow on all of our socials. You can follow at Kev Kellam. What shows you got going on this weekend, Kevin?
I'm going to be live in Antioch at Teamsters Hall, Antioch, Illinois. You know where comedy happens, Antioch, Illinois. You can also check me on AAW Hell Hath No Theory from the world famous Berwyn Eagles Club. Fans bring the weapons match, La Sociedad versus Christy Haynes.
My God.
I would expect a soon to be AEW superstar Sky Blue. What weapons will the fans bring? It'll be crazy. Check out more at aawpro.com.
When you go see Rico de la Vega, tell that his boy Jose G says, "Que pasó, papa?"
I'm not going to say that to him because I would say he's deeply unprofessional with me on camera. I'm not a fan of him.
I've seen the clips. I've seen the clips. Yeah.
Just tell him that
I'm a broadcaster.
Just tell him he knows who I am. He knows who I am. Just tell him Jose G says what's up. He'll treat you better, bro.
I don't think he will. All right.
Yeah.
I don't think he will.
Probably not.
Jeremy, what you got going on this weekend?
Oh, this weekend, a 3-day weekend, baby. Doing a little birthday party and with going to a little celebration tomorrow. I got a wedding on Sunday and then taking Monday off. You know?
Oh, great. All right. So that's your social schedule. When are you putting on a podcast?
Well, he said, what do I have going on this weekend? So I told him
tell
when
him about Lost in the Mid-Card, dude.
Yeah, that drops every Thursday, which is Lost in the Mid-Card. Go to Twitter, LITMC podcast. We got on there, or just search Lost in the Mid-Card on YouTube and also on any podcast feeds. Make sure you hit the new feed, though, because we have recently switched providers on the podcast.
We're getting good comments from everyone. Let us know what you think of the show, especially if you're watching for the first time. I know a lot of people join us, especially big nights like this with what's going on. Don't be afraid to subscribe. We are putting people on screen all the time. No paywalls with what we do. There is no Patreon. There is no, this is open to everybody to join the conversation. And maybe you want to listen to it a different way. Well, you can subscribe to our podcast. Maybe you're listening to this on our podcast and you're like, oh, I missed that. Don't worry. We have a post show tonight after SmackDown, after Rampage with Dirty D Dutch Mantel, a man who's worked WrestleManias, is going to tell you what tonight was like. All right. So that's going to be on later on tonight. Thank you so much for checking out the show. Remember, when watching wrestling, Jose, my beloved Jose, my beloved Jeremy, so beloved.
Dímelo.
I hope I never anger you that you guys write a roast rap on me, because I know I will not be responsible.
Challenge accepted.
No, that doesn't mean you do it.
I'll get Baboni on the track, bro. But remember, when y'all are watching wrestling, especially tonight, y'all got to do what, Jeremy?
Enjoy wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Head to head. Yeah.
Have a great weekend.